Hello guys, I am super excited to show you my custom heavy 41st Elite Ranger from Battlefront 2. I always wanted to make the heavy trooper from this video game, like just an innate from Out of the Basement set. There's something about troopers with lots of cool accessories. This figure is decked out to the nines with lots of wonderful parts from John Walker Customs. Here I used the officer helmet, a backpack, shoulder mini pauldron, chest sling, buckle, ammo canister, the Z6 rotary blaster, and even the messenger bag. Using the video game for reference, I can choose from lots of paint scheme for the heavy clone, but I want to include all the nifty accessories, and the only variants that carries them all are the 501st and the 41st Elite Ranger. I originally wanted to go easy and paint the 501st heavy. It has just big bulk blocks of colors, but then again, where's the fun in that, right? I'm always up for a challenge. In addition to the camo, I was also drawn to this interesting translucent paint effect that superimposes on top of the camo. So I've set out to capture this in figure form. Okay, let's move on. For the body, the figure is made with the bootleg version of the 2020 clone body, which is essentially the same as the official Hasbro release. I moan about this new mold a lot, but it is beginning to grow on me. For one, I much prefer these legs, which looks more realistic than the original release. The previous mold has these abnormally thin legs, set apart, creating this wide thigh gap. In fact, as much as I rave about the Captain Rex mold, which a lot of people also like, I actually like these 2020 legs even better than the Rex legs. I've also complained about the dinky shoulders, but in this case it is okay. I fit it with the mini pauldron on the right arm and the ammo on the left, so it gives more substance to make up for the weak shoulders. When it comes to painting the camo, I began by spraying on the base color, which fortunately is also the lightest color. It is much easier to paint darker color on top of a light base. If the other way around, it will take more passes to paint the light color on top of the dark color, which can potentially result in a caked up effect. For me, it is important the paint remains smooth, otherwise it will destroy the scale. Once the base color is cured, I give it a thin lacquer clear coat. Then I use hand brush to apply the green and brown camo, starting with the green. What I usually do is pick up a couple of scoops of paint and mix it with 2 to 4 drops of paint retarder, which slows down the paint drying time. It not only lets your paint last for longer sessions using the same batch, but it also allows the paint to settle and flatten, so in the end there will be minimal brush marks showing. Do one quick pass first. Don't worry about how solid the paint looks because it won't look solid on the first pass. The purpose of this pass is to artistically mark down where the blotches will be. Wait for the first layer to dry completely before the next pass. Depends on how much retarder you use. It usually takes about half an hour to an hour. An easy way to tell if the paint is dry is to brush on a new layer and it begins to remove the previous layer and drag the paint around. This means the previous layer is not completely dry yet. For the subsequent layers, your goal is to begin filling the colors to make it appear more solid. You might have to repeat about 2 to 3 passes. Next, I will do the brown blotches. This part is actually quite useful because in a camo scheme, the brown butts up directly against the green blotches. Since dark paint can easily cover up lighter colors, if you spot any green blotches that doesn't have sharp edges, cover some of these edges with brown. Doing this will improve the color definition. And this is why camouflage paint schemes are not as intimidating as it seems. They are in fact very forgiving. You accidentally sneeze on it? Hey, it's okay. It's part of the paintwork, right? Just make sure the color blotches appears solid and don't cake up in the end and you'll be fine. Okay, moving on to the fun part, the translucent black paint. I accomplished this by using the Tamiya spray paint, TS71 Smoke. Guys, do not use the PS31 version. That's P for Peter, 31. They are both made by Tamiya and their can looks exactly the same. but I was lucky the store guy stopped me and warned me. He told me the PS series is for polycarbonate, which in layman's speak is the clear plastic used for remote control car covers. It is especially formulated to bond with the soft, flexible plastic, and if used on top of other paints, the results would be unpredictable. I watched other YouTube videos which verifies this, saying it will be sticky and eat the paint underneath. So again, use the TS71, not PS31. As for the application, just go slow. Spray light, even coats. Make sure you wait for the paint to dry before each coat. 2 to 3 even layers of paint will do just fine. Be mindful that each additional coat will make the paint more opaque, so watch out if you might cover up the camo entirely if you go overboard. Looking back, I made the mistake of making the green markings too harsh. The green and brown used should have been more subtle and closer to the base color. This harsh, high contrast really hurts the face because it completely muted the green visor. I tried to create some separation by using a black Gundam panel liner marker to outline the visor. I think it looks alright in the end, but perhaps it is a lesson to learn for the next iteration. On with the accessories. Some might remember I have done a paratrooper, which shares many parts with the heavy trooper. However, in that case, I have made them mostly from scratch, using plastic plates and dowels. This time, I'm so happy to use the resin prints because it allows me to incorporate more details. Let's start with the messenger bag. I originally wanted to make it removable, but considering the placement in relation to the backpack, it would be difficult to do that without lots of compromises. So I decided to just glue it on and fake it. The strap is cut from the leftover soft plastic from the Rise of Skywalker Kylo Ren cape. Using soft plastic from Hasbro figure is generally great because they usually glue very well to other plastics and resin. The chest pad and shoulder mini pauldron is also glued on. I shaved down the strap underneath the pauldron because if that part protrudes too much from the shoulder, it will conflict with the head sculpt. I hope you guys avoid this pitfall as well. As for the backpack, I made a hole in the back and connect them through a plastic dowel. Lots of people use magnets. For me, I won't remove the backpack except for later in case I need to fix the figure when the strap breaks or something. So I'm just cool with the crude peg and hole method. As for the ammo accessories, I tried to go ham on the details by doing black, silver, and gold. The black part will give the illusion that it is part of the strap. At the ammo canister, I sprayed on the silver. Then I used masking tape to cover the parts I wish to remain silver. I then sprayed on the black primer. Once dried, I cover up the parts that I want to remain black. Then I finally finish up by spraying on the gold details. I think little details like this is actually very useful because if you could imagine, the camo is actually a very blotchy looking paint scheme. So by having these dark solid colors and lots of these very fine sharp details, it actually helps balances out the figure so you have something that's very mushy but something that's very well defined and bold. Okay, before this video bleeds on forever, I'll just bring it to an abrupt end. I will not delve into how I paint the Gatling gun. That could easily be its own video. Overall, if you have the patience, give the camo pattern a go. As I said, it is quite forgiving and it will be a good break from the usual paint scheme. I hope you guys enjoy this video and stay tuned for more custom to be kabashed.